Good morning, my dear students. Today we discuss the topic. I think last class that Tejasvi has taught you about anatomy of the pancreas and its development and some anomalies. So today we talk about acute pancreatitis. So pancreatitis is inflammation of the pancreatic parenchyma. So it may be acute pancreatitis, recurrent pancreatitis, and it may be chronic pancreatitis. So it is one of the most common acute abdominal condition we get in day-to-day clinical practice. So in any of the OPDs, so one or two patients will be admitted with pancreatitis. So what is acute pancreatitis? It is defined as acute condition presenting with abdominal pain, threefold or greater rise in the serum levels of pancreatic enzyme, that is amylase or lipase, and characteristic finding of pancreatic inflammation and contrast enhanced CT. So these criteria should be there to make a diagnosis of acute pancreatitis. So what happens here? There is a premature activation of the pancreatic enzyme, so which results in auto digestion of the pancreatic parenchyma. So what happens in under normal circumstances? Pancreas is protected from auto digestion by the following mechanism. So most digestive enzymes are synthesized as inactive proenzymes. So most of these proenzymes are activated by trypsin in the duodenum. So which causes intrapancreatic activation of the enzyme is minimal. So trypsinogen gets activated in the duodenum. Acinar and ductal cells secrete trypsin inhibitors, which limits intrapancreatic trypsin activity. So clinical types of acute pancreatitis include mild and severe. So mild, it may presents with the interstitial edema of the gland, minimal organ dysfunction. The majority will have mild attack of pancreatitis, almost 80%, and mortality rate is around 1%. So the patient who comes to the casualty, it may settle down with this mild type of pancreatitis, or it may go for severe variety where we call it as a necrotizing pancreatitis. So seen in 5 to 10% of the patient, pancreatic necrosis can occur, a severe systemic inflammatory response, and often multi-organ failure. So mortality varies from 20 to 50%. So what are the etiology for acute pancreatitis? See, most commonest cause in the practice is gallstone and alcoholism. So gallstone pancreatitis cause to 50 to 70%, whereas alcoholism cause around 20 to 25%. So other causes like post-ERCP, abdominal trauma, following biliary, upper gastrointestinal or cardiothoracic surgery, ampullary tumor, drugs, so corticosteroids, azathioprine, valproic acid, thiazides. So hyperparathyroidism, hypercalcemia, pancreatic division, autoimmune pancreatitis, hereditary pancreatitis, viral infection, malnutrition, scorpion bite, and idiopathic. So how gallstone causes pancreatitis? So what is known as common channel. What do you mean by common channel? So common bile duct and the pancreatic duct, they join and open at the ampulla of Vater. All of you know that. So stone lodged at the ampulla of Vater results in bile reflux into pancreatic duct. So after passage of gallstone through the sphincter of Oddi, it becomes incompetent and results in reflux of duodenal fluid and bile into the pancreatic duct. So gallstone blocking the pancreatic duct causes ductal hypertension, increase back pressure in the pancreatic duct, leads to minimal ductal disruption, Extravasation of the pancreatic secretion into the parenchyma, so results in a premature enzyme activation. So alcohol pancreatitis, excessive alcohol consumption, so around 100 to 150 grams per day. So ethanol content in the alcohol is toxic to acinar cells, causing increased secretion followed by inhibition. So ethanol causes spasm of the sphincter of Oddi. Ethanol induces increased duct permeability, allows premature activation of the enzyme, causing damage to the pancreatic parenchyma. Ethanol increases protein content of the pancreatic juice and protein plug formation in the pancreatic duct, causing ductal obstruction. So pathophysiology. So once cellular injury has been initiated, the inflammatory process can lead to a pancreatic edema, a pancreatic hemorrhage, and a pancreatic necrosis. So as inflammatory mediators are released into the circulation, systemic complication can occur like hemodynamic instability, bacteremia, ERDS, pleural effusion, gastrointestinal hemorrhage, renal failure, DIC. So this inflammatory mediator is you see in a case of a severe pancreatitis. So injury to the pancreas, so it may be a mild edema may be there, or it may be cause a systemic inflammatory response resulting in a multi-organ dysfunction. So see, when you talk about pathophysiology, we should know the acinar cells. So what happens acinar cell is, so that we call it as acinar cell events, what happens in the acinar cell to the development of the pancreatitis. So normally, proenzymes which are inactive in the pancreas turns into active form in the duodenum. So trypsinogen converted to trypsin in the duodenum. Trypsin converts other proenzyme into the active form. So this is a picture showing the acinar cells. So one side you get a pancreatitis, other side you get a cyst. So what I want to explain. So in acinar cell, you know, zymogen containing trypsinogen and lysosome containing cathepsin B undergo co-localization with the help of calcium present in the cytosol. So this is a picture. This is acinar cell what we have shown. So this is the zymogen granules which contain trypsinogen. This is lysosome which contain cathepsin. See, these two undergo a co-localization. This is the co-local product in the cytosol with the help of calcium. So after co-localization, what happens? Trypsinogen with help of cathepsin converted into trypsin. So trypsin induces increase in permeability of the cell membrane, release co-localized content into the cytosol. So this is a co-localized content which are released into the cytosol. This is the mitochondria. So cathepsin B stimulates mitochondria to release cytochrome C, which in turn causes apoptosis, that is programmed cell death. Protein kinase C enzyme activation in the cell stimulates nuclear factor kappa and beta, so which triggers to release of the cytokines. So cytokines and chemokines, which both of them what they will cause systemic inflammatory response syndrome, that is CIRS, which leads on to multi-organ dysfunction syndrome. So what happens? The trypsin, which stimulates lipase, release of lipase, elastase, lysoleucinase, phospholipase. So lipase, what happens? Lipase acts on the fat, which results in fatty acid and glycerol breakdown. So fatty acid again acts on the calcium, so form the calcium salt. So that is why you get hypocalcemia in a case of acute pancreatitis, because all this calcium is utilized for formation of the calcium salt, so which will result in a fat necrosis. So this trypsin stimulates the elastases, so which digests the elastic fibers in the blood vessels, so which can result in a pseudoaneurysm. So pseudoaneurysm can result in a rupture and it can cause hemorrhage and ultimately death. So lysokinase, the membrane, it can cause membrane damage, result in a necrosis, and it can result in a pancreatic necrosis. So phospholipase, which release prostaglandin bradykinin, so it can induce diffuse inflammation and it can cause acute hypovolemic shock and results in a renal failure. So what are the clinical manifestations of acute pancreatitis? Well, all of you know, patient will have a severe epigastric pain, sudden in onset, radiating to back with nausea and vomiting. So pain is frequently severe, constant, and refractory to the usual dose of analgesics. So discomfort may be relieved by sitting or bending forward or aggravated by lying down. So what are the signs you get? So patient may have abdominal tenderness, abdominal distension due to ileus, guarding in the upper abdomen. Severe pancreatitis may lead to retroperitoneal hemorrhage, which leads to hypovolemia, hypotension, and tachycardia. So SIDS is defined by the presence of 2 or more following criteria. So heart rate is more than 90 beats per minute. Core temperature is 36 or more than 38 degrees centigrade. Aspiration more than 20 beats rate per minute, or PCOT more than less than 32 millimeters of mercury. So white blood cell count may be more than 12,000. So if these criteria are there, so you suspect SIDS. So Cullen sign, the periumbilical ecchymosis, Gray Turner sign, flank ecchymosis. This is due to retroperitoneal hemorrhages. So we should keep in different, when your patient comes with acute abdomen, we should keep a differential diagnosis. One is acute cholecystitis, perforated duodenal ulcer, acute myocardial infarction, pneumonia, and pleuritic pain. So how do you assess the severity in the pancreatitis? So there are various scoring systems have been established, like BISAP scoring, Ranson scoring, LASCO, Apache, CT severity index, Balthazar grading system. So what we follow here a Ranson scoring system. So and Glasgow system, where they take various criteria like the age, white blood cell count, blood glucose level, LDH, ASA. So you, depending upon the parameters, we grade. If the score is more than 3, we say a patient is suffering from a severe pancreatitis. So Atlanta classification of acute pancreatitis is stratified into three groups for Atlanta classification. So mild acute pancreatitis, moderately severe acute pancreatitis, and severe acute pancreatitis. So what they say in a mild, when you make a diagnosis of mild acute pancreatitis, there is no organ failure, no local or systemic complications. Moderately severe acute pancreatitis, organ failure that resolves within 48 hours. Local or systemic complication without persistent organ failure. So when you say severe acute pancreatitis, persistent organ failure more than 48 hours, single organ failure, and multi-organ failures. So these criteria, the Atlanta classification divides the pancreatitis in 3 categories. So diagnosis, so routine investigation, CBC, hematocrit, RFT, LFT, LSD, serum electrolytes, ABG, chest X-ray. Specific investigation is serum amylase and lipase. So it is increased in 95% of the cases. 5% false negative rate can result. No indicator of severity, not an indicator of severity. Level over 1000 units suspect pancreatitis. So radiological investigation include X-ray of the abdomen, so where you can see a colon cutoff sign, ultrasound, swelling of the pancreas and loss of tissue planes, CT scan, obliteration of the fat stand, edema, and necrotic areas. So this is the plain X-ray of the abdomen showing the abrupt cutoff of the colonic gas column at the splenic flexure. So that is the one what I've shown. So colon beyond this point is decompressed by a normal peristalsis. So CT scan indication. See, in all patients of pancreatitis, we don't do CT scan. So CT scan is the not first investigation of choice. So when there is a doubt, when we do what is the indication of CT scan in acute pancreatitis, if there is a diagnostic uncertainty where you're not able to make out a proper diagnosis, or in patient a severe acute pancreatitis. patient with organ failure, signs of sepsis or progressive clinical deterioration. So you admit the patient. So for day 1, so he's all right. Day 2, it starts deteriorating. So then there is an indication to do a CT scan. So when localized complication is suspected, such as fluid collection, pseudocyst or pseudoaneurysm, so these are some of the indications where we do a CT scan. So this is a CT scan showing a necrosis. So Balthazar scoring system in acute pancreatitis. So see, that is also known as CT severity index. So if it is normal, it is 0. Edematous, you give one score. Mild extrahepatic collection 2. Severe extrahepatic collection 3. Extensive multi extrahepatic collection, we give it as 4. So these are all Balthazar CT scoring system. So how do you manage pancreatitis? So pancreatitis is managed by pancreas. So management of mild attack. So what do you do? If the patient has got pain, so first and foremost thing, you have to relieve the pain. So give some painkillers. So if giving an antibiotics in pancreatitis is still controversial, okay, you can start giving an antibiotics. So nasogastric aspiration, calcium gluconate supplementation, replacement of fluids, electrolytes replacement, anticholinergic drugs, and stomatostatin and others. So remember, even the treatment for pancreatitis is pancreas. So if you elaborate all these things, you get the answer. So management of severe attack. So when you suspect severe attack of pancreatitis, so first and foremost, you admit the patient to a surgical intensive care unit, start on analgesic, aggressive fluid rehydration. So patient has got any respiratory problems, start on oxygenation. So invasive monitoring of vital signs like central venous pressure, urine output, blood gas. Frequent monitoring of hematological and biochemical parameters include liver, renal function, clotting, and serum calcium and blood glucose level. So management severe, so put a patient on a nasogastric tube. So give a prophylactic antibiotics. So you suspect gallstone is the cause for pancreatitis. You subject the patient for ERCP. So you suppose the patient has a stone in the common bile duct, so you do a ERCP, retrieve the stone, then plan for a cholecystectomy. Supportive therapy for organ failure if patient develops. So you start on inotropes, ventilator support, or the patient may require hemodialysis and nutritional support. So complications of pancreatitis includes systemic complication and local complication. So systemic complication usually occurs in first week of attack of pancreatitis. So patient may present with shock arrhythmias. So patient may have a ARDS, renal failure, hematological patient may have a disseminated intravascular coagulopathy, metabolic hypocalcemia, hyperglycemia, and hyperlipidemia. So there may be a systemic gastrointestinal where patient may have an ileus. So neurological, visual disturbances, confusion, irritability, encephalopathy, miscellaneous, subcutaneous fat necrosis, and arthralgia. So systemic complication, pancreatitis may involve all organ system, should be managed by multidisciplinary team. Inotropic support for a hemodynamic instability is required. Hemofiltration in the event of renal failure. Ventilator support for a respiratory failure. Correction of coagulopathies. There is no role of surgery during the initial period of resuscitation and stabilization. So in a patient who comes with a systemic complication, patient got a severe pancreatitis, there is no role of surgery. So surgery in a pancreatitis is reserved only patient develops a complications. So this is what we call as after the first week, this is called a second week complication, local complication. So where patient can have acute fluid collection, sterile pancreatic necrosis, infected pancreatic necrosis. So pancreatic abscess, it may cause as pseudocyst, pancreatic ascites, pleural effusion, portal or speedic vein thrombosis, and pseudoaneurysm. So, key to remember, it is essential to establish the etiology. So first, when patient present to you with the acute abdomen, first you think of what are the differential diagnoses for acute abdomen. As I told you, it may be a pancreatitis, it may be a gastritis, it may be acute cholecystitis, acute appendicitis, and perforated duodenal ulcer. So keep in mind, and even you should keep in mind also myocardial infarction. So investigate thoroughly before labeling it as idiopathic. So in all patients you cannot, so you have to rule out the causes. So what are the causes that has caused acute pancreatitis? So when you ruled out, then only you can label it as an idiopathic. If etiology of gallstone, if you suspect, so I will be told, no. So one of the most commonest cause for pancreatitis is a gallstone. If you suspect, do a cholecystectomy desirably during the same admission. So you need not send the patient to the, so once attack has come, so you need not send the patient to discharge and send. You do a, preferably you do a cholecystectomy at the same time. So surgical intervention in acute pancreatitis is reserved for its complications. So as I told you, if the patient has got a cirrhosis or a necrosis of the pancreatic necrosis, where you do a pancreatic necrosectomy. So surgical intervention in acute pancreatitis is reserved only for its complication. Not all complication we do surgery. If it is required, we do a surgery in pancreatitis. So dear students, so this is a COVID time. So avoid contact men to stop spread. So avoid touching men, that is mouth, eyes and nose. Follow women to prevent COVID-19. So wash your hands with soap, obey directives, move away from the crowded places, eat and exercise regularly, never ignore warning signals. Thank you.